Hey, what's up? This is Brandon Simmons for BrandonSimmons.biz, and this is my weekly video blog called Bullheaded, a review of the Houston Texans news, as well as a preview of their upcoming game matchups. So, this week, the Texans are going to be going on the road to the legendary Lambeau Field and facing the Green Bay Packers, and we'll get into all what the Texans got to do to get in that game, which is going to be a huge matchup for both teams. So, before we get into that, let's just go ahead and do a quick little game recap from last Sunday. So, Texans won 41-21 over the New England Patriots, and it was kind of crazy because the last couple of weeks we've been talking about how the Texans put on these great first halves and what I'm saying? Then second half, it all kind of just falls apart. It was kind of looking like that a little bit, particularly towards the end of the first half, when the Patriots scored that touchdown. But Texans, second half they really just handled their business, pulled it away. Couple standouts. One major standout for me was Will Anderson. He had 3 sacks in this game, not to mention 4 tackles for loss and just 8 tackles overall. So really a big time performance for him. I think he even had a pass deflection. So yeah, he was just playing all parts of the defense last game. So kudos to him. Another thing that stood out to me, Joe Mixon and Damian Pierce. Our running game has came back. And hopefully it stays. But Joe Mixon, 13 carries, 102 yards, and a touchdown. Damian Pierce, he had 8 carries for what was it? Yeah, 8 carries for 76 yards in this game. But um, his biggest carry was a 54-yard run for a touchdown. So with Pierce, I've noticed that so he's kind of been good for that. Since his rookie season, like he'll give you like one or two like chip plays, and then he'll just somehow just come up with this one big play for you in the game. So um, I'm glad to see that he was able to do that in his return to the lineup in his season debut. So that probably prompted some other things that happened this week. But just to wrap it up over this whole game recap, um, a good win by the Texans. I was a lot more impressed with this win than the previous wins, just for the dominating factor that we won this fashion in. Like I said, going into last week, Patriots, they're kind of going through some things. They're doing their own rebuilding. And that quarterback, I'm going to just be objective here. Drake May didn't look too bad for his very first start. Obviously, he could use a little work, but I thought he did pretty decent. But other than that, what I'm saying, I'm glad, the Texans really came out on top with that win. So hopefully they, what I'm saying, fix up what they got to fix up for Green Bay. And I'll get into all that. So, couple notes for the week. First off, this win gave us our best start, tied us for our best start in franchise history at 5-1. First time we've been 5-1 since the 2012 team. Holla. So, and 2012 was actually like one of my favorite Texan seasons. I don't know if the other fans do stuff like that, like have a favorite season, but I think it's like 2012, 2018. I just kind of go back to those. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. So yeah, best start in franchise history at 5-1. A couple other notes: Cam Akers got traded this week, and they traded him to the Minnesota Vikings or whatever team he was with, before coming over to the Texans. And I mean, quite frankly, I don't know if they did that in response to uh, Damian Pierce coming back and just figuring like, hey, we're not really gonna need you. Pierce is here to stay, and I'm kind of okay with that. Not really. The reason is, I know with Cam Akers, when he was here for a short time, I'm saying, he really impressed a lot of people, especially in the preseason. A lot of folk thought like, hey, he has a chance to really move up to the number 2 spot. I'm saying, this is when Pierce was probably freshly dealing with that injury, and so even when he came in, in place of Mixon, he had a couple good games. He scored like a couple touchdowns during his tenure. So I definitely think that, you know, giving him away, I don't know if it was the right thing to do. Maybe there's like some contract stuff that might be coming up that they just not willing to resign him after the season. They figure they just cut the losses or whatever. But yeah, I just don't think he should have been traded. That's just me. Probably hold on to him a little bit longer. So, um, also in other news, Mario Edwards been suspended. I think for PEDs. I forgot to check to see what that was, but comes just in time for the return of Nico Autry, um, who was serving a 6 game suspension for PEDs, but now he's completed that suspension, so he'll make his season debut. Um, he'll make his season debut this Sunday against the Packers. So moving on to injuries, and there are quite a few injuries on this list. So just pulling it up right now. Most notable, one of the injuries on here, Henry Tua Totu. Um, he's been listed as did not practice for a concussion, and he's joins a long list of DMPs that were given that designation on Thursday, which is today uh, that I'm filming. But Al Aziz Al Shahir, he's been he's did not practice. Fatakasi, Kamari Lassiter, Jimmie Ward, Robert Woods, all those guys have DMP designations from Thursday's practice. Um, Probably know a little bit more when it comes Friday. If they didn't practice, and if they still carry that destination over, more than likely they're probably just going to be out for this week. Joe Mixon, he showed up on the injury report as limited practice, but that's probably just to kind of have some precautions with him, make sure he doesn't re-injure that ankle or re-aggravate the ankle injury. Excuse me. Larry Tunsil, listed as a full participant um, this on Thursday's practice. So going to be interesting. He should be good to go. I think he's just on here as like a precaution, just to just in case. Excuse me, just in case something goes awry. So we'll see what happens with that. So with that being said, game time. The real game time. So Texans are going to be going on the road this Sunday, taking on the Green Bay Packers, and they're going to be in Lambeau Field, legendary Lambeau Field. So, in the NBA, it's probably like the Madison Square Garden. It's probably like the Madison Square Garden of the NFL. You know what I'm saying? Historic place, plenty of championships, plenty of playoff games, plenty of gridiron battles that have happened in that stadium. Many of the legends have crossed paths in that stadium, and so future, hopefully a future legend is C.J. Stroud. Uh, Hopefully he'll be that. He's going to be entering in this stadium, leading this Texans team against kind of a hot Packers team in themselves. The NFC North made history this past week as being the first division since the merger to have all of the teams with at least 4 wins after 6 games. You know what I'm saying? Through week 6. So kudos to them. Real competitive division. And so we've already faced, the Chicago Bears from that division, and we faced the Minnesota Vikings. So now we're gonna go ahead and square up against these, square up against these Green Bay Packers. And like I said, they're competitive. They're kind of hot right now. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, they're competitive. They're kind of hot right now, but you know what I'm saying. It's a challenge that the Texans. I feel that they can take this challenge on. They faced a tough Buffalo Bills team earlier this season. They had to stand across a very very tough Minnesota team, and that Minnesota game probably isn't the best example of playing the team over 500, but definitely the Buffalo game should lend some credence to them. So Texas want to pull off this win. Here's a couple things they need to do. First off, the secondary must be great. Number one. Number one, secondary must be great. Jordan Love, he's third in the league in touchdown passes and also second in the league in interceptions. So it's kind of like that gunslinger mentality that a lot of Packers fans are used to from Brett Favre. It's in a sense is out of the small sample size that we have. It's like a high risk, high reward type of situation. So our job as a secondary is to make sure that we go out there and force the risk on him. You know what I'm saying? Make him make a mistake because he seems like he's gonna, go for what I'm saying, gonna go for goals just about every other time. So force him to make a mistake. Um, Another thing about that is he also distributes the ball to different receivers, so he has a tendency to just kind of, make sure everybody eats receiver wise. So, uh, you know, Romeo Dobbs, Christian Watson. I think Romeo Dobbs might have had a touchdown. And missed a week for he actually missed a week for not for not showing up to practice for a couple of days. So for him to just jump right back in the lineup and just go get the score just like that, it just speaks to like how much Jordan Love likes to spread the wealth. Dobbs, Watson, Jalen Reed, guys like that. So he's gonna find different receivers, and it's just up to the Texans to really just kind of slow that down. It's not one receiver that we can just fall off on and just kind of focus on the others. We're really gonna have to like find a smart way to just really cover these guys, whether it's just sticking with man or just trying to implement like some type of zone to really just kind of take away his passing lanes. So the secondary is going to have to be great in that aspect. Number two, don't sleep on the Packers secondary or their running game, especially their running game. So I know the big story, is Jordan Love. He's the quarterback, led this team to a playoff win last season. Came back, bumpy start, you know what I'm saying? But do not sleep on his running game. And like Josh Jacobs, you shouldn't sleep on Josh Jacobs anyway. If you are, then you shouldn't be playing football. But because he was, he was the bomb, when he played for the Raiders. And like he's coming over here, nothing's changed, nothing's worn off. He's still doing his thing. He has like 100-yard game this season, but he's still, fourth in the league in rushing, which is kind of crazy. But not crazy when you think about how much that Green Bay itself is second in the league in rushing. So, you just don't hear too much about it, maybe because it's too early and things like that. But, what I'm saying? He's obviously a really big part of this run game and helping them win games right now. So it's going to be important that we kind of stop that run and take that away from them. You know what I'm saying? And, just increase the chances of trying to get Jordan Love to try to make a mistake. But definitely take that running game away so the drives can shorten. So our offense, which is powerful on its own merit, they won't have to be sitting around and losing rhythm and getting cold. They can, kind of hop back on the field, and get right into it and just keep, just keep the blood flowing and all this other stuff. So, um, yeah, do not sleep on that secondary or that running game. And I mentioned the secondary, and I forgot to, and I'm forgetting to mention that Xavier McKinney, he leads the league in picks. Uh, he leads the league the sole leader in the league in interceptions. That is Xavier McKinney. But Packers pass defense is just not that great. You know what I'm saying? So it just isn't. So it's kind of like another misleading stat for this team. Uh, but at the same time, like the result is the result. You know what I'm saying? So um, it's definitely going to have to be something where you know we run the ball, to kind of, protect the ball from him, but also create, uh, also create, what am I trying to say? Okay, so it's definitely gonna be a thing where we run the ball to keep the ball away from McKinney, but also create one-on-one matchups on the outside for Stefon Diggs, for Tank Dell, so they can win those matchups. In addition to that, it's gonna need to be effort in stopping the run. So yeah, I said what I said about Josh Jacobs, him being who he is. It's going to be need to be some effort in doing that. So, um, in in all essentiality, the battle is going to be won in the trenches in this game. So the D line, they're going to have to beat their one-on-one matchups and try to stop who's ever trying to cross that line of scrimmage. Offensive line, they're going to have to win their matchups as well, so we can open up running lanes for our running backs. You know what I'm saying? And we can, extend our drives. You know what I'm saying? Or get more explosion out of our offense. So they're definitely going to have to. Offensive lines definitely. Offensive line and defensive line are definitely going to have to stand up or step up. Last thing the Texans got to do, develop a silent count system. So Lambeau is going to be loud. It's going to be crazy. Like I said, this Lambeau field, it's like the MSG, the crypto arena, all the famous arenas in any sport. That's what Lambeau Field is for football. You know what I'm saying? I remember, watching basketball. People are like, uh, when such and such goes to the such and such gonna go to MSG. Steph Curry's gonna go to MSG and blah blah blah. They've always done it throughout the years. This is they don't do it so much with football because you know I don't know why. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, it's definitely something that's gonna be highlighted as far as like CJ Stroud's first trip to Lambeau. So um, the thing about that is it's really going to have to be about controlling and fighting through the crowd noise because they're going to be loud, they're going to be rambunctious. You know what I'm saying? And you know we just got to like brush that off. So yeah, just get a silent count system. I don't know why I ran off tracks with that. Get a silent count system for that, and you know what I'm saying. Just really, that'll also help with, who's false starts. You know what I'm saying, and just really put us in a position to reduce the penalties. So that's all I got for y'all. Secondary, they have to be great against this Packers passing attack. The offensive line, defensive line, they have to win in the trenches. We cannot sleep on the secondary or running game. Offensive line must create holes for to open up the running lanes, create the one-on-one matchups on the outside, and you know what I'm saying, just kind of really just kind of neutralize the Packers front seven, and also let's say yeah, open up those. Also, at the defensive line has to win their one-on-one matchups to slow the run down, slow the Packers running game down, and also, you know what I'm saying, just kind of, get them off the field as much as you possibly can. And third last and final thing, develop a silent count system. You know what I'm saying? Get familiar with that. And the reason I say that, uh, Lambeau is Lambeau Field. They're gonna go crazy. They're gonna test stuff up. You know what I'm saying? And knowing that the caliber of team that's coming in to visit them, they're really gonna act a fool. So, just you know what I'm saying, just understand that they're gonna get crazy, and it's gonna be hell. But so yeah, it's gonna be hell. But definitely get that silent count system down. So all the O-line can know when the, you know what I'm saying, when to actually go hike the ball or whatever. And, you know what I'm saying, we won't have any issues. So yeah, that's all I got for y'all this week. If you're watching this on Facebook, like my page. I got more content coming. If you're watching this on YouTube, click the subscribe button, like the video. I, you know what I'm saying, I definitely got more content like this coming on my YouTube page as well. So, with that being said, I don't have nothing else for y'all. I'm Brandon Simmons for BrandonSimmons.biz. Holla black.